Hi everyone, I'm Soumya, a software engineer and an educator. Welcome to Module 3 of Kotlin Crash Course. In this module, I will teach you in detail about Kotlin standard libraries and Android application development. Today, I'll teach you about this concept in Kotlin programming language. So let's get started. The very first thing is, and the very basic control flow is if-else. So let's say if you are writing code and you have to print something, you have to perform a set of operation based on certain condition, like if xyz is happening, then perform this piece of code. Let's say if it is raining, then print it is raining, or maybe show an image which tells the user that it is raining. So something like that, right? So it is completely based on condition. If something is happening, then perform these actions, else otherwise if another action is happening, then perform other piece of execute other piece of code, etc. So if it is raining, take umbrella, otherwise no rains, you can enjoy your day. So if you have to write piece of code which are about these conditions and actions, then you can use if else. Now let's look at the syntax of if else. That's very easy. So this is the syntax of if else. If certain condition is true, then run this piece of code, otherwise else you can run other piece of code, right? So it is very simple. If you want to write if else, you just have to do if this piece of code is correct, if this condition is correct, then execute this much line, otherwise else you can execute this piece of code written over here, right? And you can put multiple conditions as well, like if this is true, then execute this, then again you can put some condition, else if this is true, else if, you can keep on adding else if, and then in the end if none of the conditions are true, then you can simply write one else block in which if none of the if conditions are true, then that will be executed. Perfect. Let's move on, and I want to quickly show you how you can write your code in this way if you want to use if else. So I'm using the same project that we created in the last module 1. Okay, new page, new file, and I want to name it if else, or you can name it control or something like that, control flow, anything, whatever you feel comfortable, you can name it that way. So I'm writing if else, and now what I will do is, once again, class if else, and what I will do here, like if you check at the main function that we wrote yesterday, so we had one function main, and inside that we simply did some print operation, we did increment and post increment, pre increment, etc. So today let's do one thing. I want to remove the class, and here I will write all the code. Okay, perfect. So I want to write here how if else works. So if I'll create one variable where animal, okay, where animal, in the beginning I will pass empty string, okay, and maybe I can ask the user as well to give some input, that if the animal is dog, cat, anything like that, you can right now predefine on yourself as well, right? So if I can check if animal is equal to, let's say, cat, then we can do print the animal is a cat, right? Else if animal is dog. So you can see it is giving me many hints that, hey Soumya, you can improve this piece of code or that piece of code, right? So I'll tell you what hints it is giving us. The animal is a dog, right? That way you can go on and on, like depending upon the condition, depending upon the use case, you can add more and more conditions. So first thing here, it is saying that you can make this variable val, because the value is not getting modified in this project, in this piece of code, but it depends on me. I might change its value, so I want to keep it var, Okay, now if you see here, so it is saying that condition this is always false, because obviously animal is not is equal to cat, and here it will say it is always true. So let's try to print and see if it's working, if this piece of code is working. And you can see here we got the output. The animal is a dog, obviously, because the value of animal, the variable is dog, right? If I write here cat, so obviously it will print the animal as a cat, right? So this is very very simple. I mean, I just wanted to explain you the syntax of if else. This control flow syntax, if else syntax is too easy. Okay, now let's get back to iPad. Let me do a screencast again. And here if you see, so there are some kind of rules which you should follow. They are not exactly rules, but a good programmer should always follow these standard rules and regulations, right? You should avoid cascading if else in Kotlin. Let's say if you have multiple conditions, like if animal is equal to this, then if animal is this, like let's say 5 to 6 if conditions are there, right? Depending upon the value of a variable, then you should use when instead of if else. So if you see here, if number is equal to 0, then they are printing 0. If number is 1, then 1, something like that, right? So instead you should use when keyword. When is a keyword in Kotlin, and instead of multiple cascading if else in Kotlin, you should prefer using when keyword. Perfect. So the syntax is something like this: when number is 0, then print 0. If number is 1, then print 1. Else you can print -1, right? It's so easy as compared to if else. I mean, in if else you were writing long piece of code. I mean, you were saying if number is equal to 0, then do this. So it's very very easy as compared to if else, cascading if else. So you can be very you can simply write, I will tell you the syntax here as well. So when this condition is true, when this value is there, so you can be like, when x, let's say I have x variable, right? So if x is equal to 0, then perform this operation. If x is equal to 1, then perform this. If it's 2, then this. If it's minus, otherwise, like I can be like, if the value is completely different, else you can print any value here, right? So this is the syntax of when in Kotlin. And here they have decompiled the same concept in Java. So in Java, instead of when, we have switch. If you are coming from the Java background, you can relate to this very much. So basically, switch in Java is very very similar to when in Kotlin. Perfect. I hope the concept is clear now. So in Java we used to write something like this switch number. So here it will check the value of number. If it is 0, it will execute the case 0. If let's say it's 1, it will execute case 1, and it goes on, right? In the same way, we have the when keyword in Kotlin. It's a kind of switch in Kotlin. Okay, so you have switch in Java. So the same concept is implemented in Kotlin using the concept of when. Perfect. All right. Awesome. So it's pretty much it. And moving ahead, now let's talk about loops. Loops are again very very significant concept. I mean, if you have studied any object oriented programming language, you would have studied loops indeed. I'm pretty much sure about it. And the syntax is, the concept is very very much same as in other languages. So if you already know any other language, it's going to be super duper simple for you. You will be like, okay Soumya ma'am, like it's so easy, I can write the code before you even teach, right? It's literally that much easy. So yes, we just finished decision making. Like if you have to perform some operation based on some decision, you will be using if else. You can use when as well. And if you want to perform a set of operation multiple times, I'm repeating, in that case you use loops. The word loop is self-explanatory, right? If you have to execute a set of a statement multiple times, then in that case you have to use the concept of loops. For example, if you have to print hi developers 5 times, or if you have to print I am learning 10 times, then in that case you will use the concept of loops, because it doesn't make sense to write print ln hi developers 10 times like this, right? You can do the same thing instead of 10 lines. Instead of 10 lines, you can do this in 2 to 3 lines, right? So if obviously we want to be smart developers, right? We want to write code that takes less piece of code and less piece of lines. I mean, you want to do something in less number of lines of code. Like in Java we used to write 7 to 8 to 10 lines for the same concept, but in Kotlin we are trying to squeezing it so that the developer experience is good overall, right? Perfect. So now the very first thing is Kotlin while loop. This is the syntax of while loop. While some text expression is true, then you keep on executing the code which is inside the body of the while loop. Okay. If you are a beginner in coding, obviously right now you'll be feeling like this is tough concept or something like that, but trust me, I mean, I'll tell you the like example and everything, it will become super duper simple for you. Okay, so here is an example of Kotlin while loop. Let's say you want to print something 5 times. They are printing some line, something like that, 5 times. Okay, so this is the function main. Okay, inside this we are going to write our code. So we created a variable where I is equal to 1, and then while I, that is this variable, is less than or is equal to 5, you have to keep on printing this thing. And every time you are inside the while loop, you are incrementing the value of I as well. So let's quickly do a dry run of this, and that will make the concept very easy for you to understand. Okay, so the very first thing, in the first iteration, what will happen? I is equal to 1, right? So in the first iteration it is 1. Here it will check while I is less than equal to 5. Is 1 less than 5? Obviously. So I'll come inside this loop. I'll print line. And what is the value of I? It is 1, right? It is 1 right now. After that I will do plus I. That is the next time I will check like I did plus I. It is pre-increment. So the value of I now is I is equal to 2. So when I will again, after this I'll come again here, right? I'll come again here. It will check, is 2 less than equal to 5? Yes, it is. So I'll come inside the while loop and I'll print line. The value of I right now is 2. Right now it is true. And then I'll after executing this, I'll execute this plus I. So now the value of I is 3. Plus I means I is equal to I plus 1, right? Basically I am incrementing the value of I. That's it. Now it is 3. I'll again go here. I'll check while I is less than equal to 5. Is 3 less than equal to 5? Obviously. So I'll come here. I'll print this line 3 and then plus I. Now the value is 4. I will again come here. Is 4 less than equal to 5? Obviously yes. So I'll print here line 4. Okay, and after that, after executing this, I'll increment the value of I. I will be now equal to 5, and again I will come here and I will check, is 5 less than or equal to 5? Obviously it is equal to. So I'll come and execute this line. So it will be line 5 and then plus I. So now the value of I is equal to 6. I'll again check, is 6 less than or equal to 5? No, the condition is now not true. So I'll come out of this while loop. I'll execute that line of code which is just after the while loop, right? That's it, you are done. So the like output of this piece of code will be line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4 and line 5. To quickly check, let's write this piece of code in our editor as well. This is our Kotlin directory. I'll create here a new file and I'll call it, we were studying while loop, right? So I'll name it while, and I want to create a file. Okay, so function main, and after that let me increase the size for you. Function main, and after that inside the curly braces I want to write the while loop, right? I want to write the code for while loop. So I just executed while loop. I used a very simple example, right? So let's say I want to use the same example that we had last time. Okay, you can use the concept of that animal thingy as well. So I want to teach you with the help of let's use this only concept, function main. So where I, or we can create any variable like a, b, c, anything. So in the starting, let's give it the value 1, and I want while a is less than or equal to 10. Okay, while a is less than or equal to 10, I want to perform some set of operation. The operation is I want to print something. Whoops, line is $a. Okay, so basically this is a very this is beauty of Kotlin. I mean, if you are under double quotes, right, if you are using a string and you want to print the value of a variable as it is, so you can use the dollar symbol. Okay, you can use the dollar symbol. So line is this, and after this I'll increment the value of a. That's it. Let's execute this piece of code and see if we did the execution correctly. And yes, we did. So line is 1, 2, 3. This is exactly how we executed this piece of code. So in that sample code we were given 5, right? So now let's run it. Yes, this is exactly same as what we did, right? This is exactly same as what we wrote. And now let's get back to iPad. I'll screencast, and so I hope while is clear now, how while loops are written. The syntax is very simple. Okay, the syntax is very simple. Once again I'm writing while this piece of code is correct, this piece of code is correct, this statement is true, this condition is true, you can execute whatever is written inside the while loop body. This is the body of while loop. Okay, so usually whenever we have some variables or something like that, let's say you want to execute some piece of code till it is true, right? I mean, let's say if you have a variable a and you want to execute it till it is less than or equal to 100, then you should have some, increment or decrement, some sort of expression here, maybe plus a or minus a, something like that. Otherwise there will be no end to the while loop. I mean, just imagine it. Just do a dry run of this. It's very important if you want to understand some concept. No, it's important that you do a dry run of that. It helps you understand the concept in a very easy manner, in very clean and crisp manner. So after while loop, here is another example of while loop only. If you are writing a program to compute the sum of natural numbers from 1 to 100, so this is function main again, and inside this we have some piece of code, right? Some piece of code. So in the beginning, sum is equal to 0 and I is equal to 100. So they want to compute the sum of natural numbers from 1 to 100. So while I is not is equal to 0, what they are doing sum is equal to sum plus I, and every time it is inside the while loop, they are doing decrement. So this is shorthand, sum plus is equal to I. This exactly means sum is equal to sum plus I. Okay, and then in the end they are printing the value of the sum. So if you try to do a dry run of this is exactly this will exactly do what we were doing in the last example of while loop. So let me give you one or two dry run of this. So in the beginning sum is equal to 0, I is equal to 100, right? So next time it will come here, it will check is I not is equal to 0, meaning is 100 not is equal to 0. That's obviously true. So I'll come inside the while body, and now sum will be equal to sum plus I. So that is 0 plus 100 is equal to 100, and then minus I, so I is equal to 99. Okay, then next time I'll go here, I'll check is 99 not is equal to 0, obviously true. So I'll do here s is equal to sum plus I. So sum right now is 100 and I is 99, so it will do this summation, and then plus minus I, that is 98. So it will keep on doing this till the value of I becomes 0. So starting from 100 it will do it till I is equal to, I is not is equal to 0, right? Till I is equal to 1 it will do it. So we will get the sum of first and natural numbers, first 100 natural number, from 1 to 100 we will get this sum. Perfect. Moving ahead, now we have another important thing. After while loop we have do while loop. Okay, this is exactly same as while loop. There are few changes here and there. The do while loop is similar to while loop with one key difference. The body of do while loop is executed once before the text expression is checked. So you will understand this once you see the syntax of do while loop. So do this piece of action, execute this piece of code action, whatever is written inside this body of do while this text expression is true. So in while loop what we were doing, we were checking the text expression before executing the body, right? Here we will execute the body first and we will check the text expression if it is true or if it is not true later on, right? Here is an example of Kotlin do while. The program below calculates the sum of numbers entered by the user until the user enters 0. And to take the input from the user, we are using the readline function. The readline is inbuilt function, and with that we are taking the input from the user. Okay, all right. So here if you see, this is the piece of code, right? So this is function main and these are the arguments. This is the opening and closing braces for function main. So here we have a sum variable which is equal to 0. Then we have input variable which is of type string. So we are performing this piece of this set of action while input is not is equal to 0. So until the user will enter 0 as input, we have to perform this action. So we are printing enter an integer, then user will print it. We are getting the input in the input variable using readline function, okay? And then we are doing sum is equal to sum plus, we are converting the input into integer. So whatever input user will keep giving, we will keep adding it. Let's say if I enter 5, so 5 plus next time 10 plus 1 until I press 0, it will keep on adding. So in sum, what will I have at the end? I will have the value of all the input that the user has given, right? And then finally at the end I will be printing the value of the sum variable. So it's as easy and as simple as it looks. Let's quickly write do while loop so that it becomes clear. Okay, let me keep the iPad here and we will write do while loop as well as while to. So while you have already seen how the concept of while is, right? So here we are testing the value before executing the piece of code, right? That is the only difference between while and do while. We write the text expression at the end in case of do while. Okay, perfect. So let's say I have a variable var index and the value is maybe 7. Okay, so I want to perform some action here, do something while a certain condition is true, while index is not is equal to 0. till then you have to perform some set of action. Okay, perform a set of action till, or you can say until, or while the value of index is not equal to 0. Okay, perfect. And that action can be anything, like you can just go on printing the value of index. Okay, so the value of index is dollar. I will use the dollar sign and then index, the variable. Perfect. And as I told you, in case of loops, we always have to deal with the values of the variable as well. If you are checking the value of index every time, and in the beginning it is 7, so it's important that somewhere inside the body of the do while or the while loop, you have some increment or decrement operation with that particular variable. So here the value is 7, and I want to print this line at every value of index, like 7, 6, 5, until it becomes 0. So what I will do here is I will simply do minus index. I have to decrement it. Okay, if I execute it, so you can see and the other piece of code, this one is also getting executed. Here in the beginning the value of index is 7, then the value of index is 6, 5, 4, 3, and it keeps on going, right? Perfect. And moving ahead, now let's check the other loop as well. So mainly there are 3 loops in any programming language. We have already checked while and do while, right? And now is the time that we check for loop as well. So the syntax for loop in Kotlin is again very simple. For is a keyword. Okay, for some item in collection, you can I'll teach you. I mean, this is the basic syntax for this piece of a statement. You have to execute these many lines of code. Okay, let's see some example and that will make it clear. So let's say you have to iterate through a range of values. Okay, through a range of value. So this is the main function. Inside this, for I that is in between 1 to 5, right? If the value of I is between 1 to 5, then go and keep on printing I. Okay, if the value of I will become, let's say, -1 or 0 or 7, 6, anything, then I will not execute this piece of code. Okay, in this case the value will be from 1 to 5. Okay, because obviously I'm telling it that, okay, if the value of I is between 1 to 5, we have the for loop here, and inside that we are telling that I is in this range, then only this piece of code will be executed, right? Perfect. And here is another example of for loop only. So we have a text Kotlin. Okay, we have a text Kotlin. This is a string, right? This is of type string. So for every letter in the text, for every letter, like for Kotlin, what I'm doing is I am iterating over this string, over Kotlin. I am printing each and every value for letter in Kotlin. Okay, letter in this text. So for the very first time it will have the value K, then it will have the value O, then T, L. I'm just printing it. So for loop is heavily used in iterating as well, iterating over a string, iterating over arrays, and so on. Okay, so let's quickly write for loop as well, so that the concept is very crisp and clear in your mind. Okay, so here let's say I have a variable, okay, where name is equal to a scalar. Okay, and here what I will do is for each text in name, I want to print it. Okay, print ln println, I want to print this, whoops, each text. So if I run it, you can see SCA, the name is spelling is correct, and here you can see SCALER. okay, it is one by one printing the value of each character which is there in this given string. Okay, in Java or in other languages, what we used to do, we used to do something like this. Like I have this habit of creating variable I is equal to 0. okay, and I mean, we used to learn for loop in this way only. I learned in the first language was C++, so I learned this way only, I is equal to 0. Or maybe you can initialize it here as well. Let's say, whoops, so where I is equal to 0 and till I is less than or equal to so basically the syntax won't be true for this Kotlin, right? Let's try it. Okay, and then so we used to have 3 kind of statements here, but this is not exactly how in Kotlin we do that. If you go and check on the net as well, the syntax of for loop in Kotlin, so you will see, I mean, earlier we used to do it this way. We used to have one initialization, then control, and then increment kind of variables. But in Kotlin, this is exactly how you do things. So if you look at the standard syntax of for loop in Kotlin, so as I told you, it is like this only. For, let's say you have an array of cars, right? This is a cars array, and I haven't yet taught the concept of array to you all, but in the coming modules, in the next topics, I'll teach about array as well. So let's say if you have a cars variable, that is array of Volvo, BMW, for these are some car names, right? So for X in car, for each car value, you are kind of going in the for loop and printing each and every value of the car, right? Whatever is there inside the array. Perfect. And let's now come back to iPad and I'll teach you some more concepts around it. So I hope by now you know the syntax of while loop, you know how to use do while loop, and as well as you know the concept of for loop, right? For loop is also very much straightforward. It's very simple, right? For each letter in this string, we can be like printing each, we can go on printing each letter, right? So it's as simple as it looks. So if else you already know now, and after that you have 3 main loops: while loop, do while, and the last one is for loop. There is a very small difference between while and do while loop. In while loop, you check the test condition in the beginning, and in do while, you test that condition at the end after executing the body of the do while loop. Perfect. Let's now talk about functions in Kotlin. If we are learning any new programming language, then obviously function is a very important concept. Function is a block of code to perform certain functionality. It helps in reusing the code. Let's say in your project, in your application, if there is a set of a statement which you want to write like more than once, then the function concept comes very handy. The syntax is like this: you have to write the fun keyword and then the name of the method, whatever the name is. Like in the previous examples that we just saw, we were writing main function, right? And then inside curly braces we can write whatever we have to write, right? Like println hello world, hello from scalar, something like that, right? Moving ahead, this is again in brief the syntax of function. Fun, the keyword, and then name of the function. You should always try to give meaningful names to your function. And then in curly braces, you can give it parameters like variable var a, var b, var c, whatever based on your use case, right? So you can pass here parameters, and then there will be return type of the function. Okay, you have, this is the basic standard syntax of function. You can take a screenshot of this as well, and then inside curly braces you have some piece of code, some statements to execute, and then finally return the result, return return a value which is of type this. Let's say if you are saying here that you will return int, so the type of result variable should be int only, okay. So an entry point of a Kotlin application is the main function. Main function is very, very important, okay. Whenever you will click on that run green button in the IDE, so that IDE, the virtual machine, that will search for the main function. So this is the main function. It will come and it will see, okay, println hello world is written, so it will execute that line, okay. After that, let's say you are making a function call, you are calling a function, and the name of the function is add, okay, add. So it will go and check if there is any function fun add or not. So it will go and check if add function is there. Inside that, whatever you would have written, that println hello from add function, everything will be printed, okay. So another form of main function accepts a variable number of a string argument. So this was a function in the parameter list, we had nothing, right? So here fun main, and inside parameters we are passing a variable. The name of the variable is args, the name is args, and this is the type of the variable. Type can be either int, it can be string, it can be boolean. So here it is array of strings, right? And then in curly braces we are printing something, Moving ahead, we have a function with two int parameters and int return type, okay. So fun, the keyword, the name of the function is sum. Inside simple braces, inside parenthesis, we have two variables, variable a, variable b, okay. These are of type int, and the return type is also int, right? So what we are returning here, we are returning the sum of a plus b. We are returning the sum of a plus b. The return type is also int, right? So if I have to, let's say I have a function fun main, okay, fun main, and inside this I want to call the sum function. How will I do that? I will say sum, and let's say I want to do a sum of 7 and 5, so I'll call it this way. So it will go here, it will pass here 7 and 5, okay. Then it will return 7 plus 5 is equal to 13, right? 7 plus 5 is equal to 12, okay. So this way it works, right? A function body can be an expression as well. It's returned, so a function body can be an expression as well. Its return type is inferred. So basically here what you saw is inside the body of the function we just had one line of code. So you can write fun, sum is the name of the function, two variables a and b of type int is equal to a plus b, So it's as simple as it looks. I mean, if you have one line of code inside your function, go ahead and use this syntax, write equal to, and that's it, okay. A function with two int parameters and int return type. So here you have another example. Fun, sum is the keyword, sum is the name of the function, not keyword, sorry. And then you have two parameters here, return type is also 2. This is exactly same what we saw here. So they are writing complete code. We have main function, we are printing sum of 3 and 5 is, then we are calling here, what we are doing, this is how you call a function. So whenever you click on that green run button, so it will search for main function, right? It will search for main function. It will execute this line, that is it will print sum of 3 and 5 is, and then the next line is line number 7 will be executed. It is saying println, print whatever this method sum 3 5 returns, right? So as soon as the compiler will see this, that okay, it is the main function is calling some function, it will directly jump here, and it will pass here 3 and 5, okay, and then it will return 3 plus 5 8. So here what will be printed, the value that you will get here is 8, so it will print 8. So sum of 3 and 5 is 8. As simple as it looks. A function that returns no meaningful value. So you can use unit as well. Let's say if your function is not returning any value, you can either leave it empty or you can ask it to return unit. Print ln sum of a and b is this much, okay. Unit return type can be omitted as well. So this and this both are same, okay, both are same. You can see here the fun keyword is here, fun keyword is same, print sum, the name of the function, and then both have two parameters a and b. It is saying that the return type is unit, that is it will not return anything, and if you don't write unit then also it's the same. And then you are printing here sum of a and b is this. Perfect. All right. So now let me teach you function overloading as well. It is another very significant concept, okay. So if in the function the name is same, name of the function is same, but parameters are different, let's say if in this example, right, print sum, the name is same. If let's say the type of this is float and not int, the type is float, so this is the best example of function overloading. The name of the function is same, but either the parameter type, the number of parameter like a b, you can have one more c here, so either the number of parameter is different or the type of the parameter or the return type is different, then that will be the function overloading example. So either number of parameter is different or the type is different, okay. For example, this is one of the best examples. You can see here function name is same, list of parameters 1, parameters 2, and return type. So I mean the function name will remain same, either the number of parameters or the type of parameter or the type of return type will be different. Perfect. Now let's quickly write some code to understand the concept of functions in even better manner, okay. So what I will do here, I'll create one more file here, Kotlin file, okay, Kotlin file. I'll name it function fun main is very important, okay, main is very important, function main, and I will say here print ln I want to perform addition operation, okay, addition operation. So what I will do here is, might be that I might need to add two values multiple times in my project. So I'll instead of writing here a plus b or something like that, what I will do, and I have two values here, where a is equal to 9 and where b is equal to maybe 19, okay. Perfect. So I can either do print ln, I can go here, I can write a plus b, okay, a plus b. But what happens is, let's say you have to do addition again in your project, right? So again, many times, I mean, you will need to do the same thing, a plus b. So what I'll do is, I'll use the concept of function. I'll create a function, fun sum. Fun is the keyword, sum is the name of the function, and I will here pass some parameters, pass some values. So if you remember what was the syntax of the function in Kotlin, let me show you again. Screencast. So this is how you write it. You simply have to pass the parameters this way, name of the variable and then the type of the variable, right? So let's do that thing here. Let's do that. So let's say the name of the variable is var1, var1, that is of type int, and var2, that is of type int again. So, and I want this function to return integer value only. Okay, so it will return var1 plus var2. Let's say if I create one more function sum, and I have var1 again, but this is of type float, and var2 again, and this is also of type float, and I want to return float. Okay, and return here, return var1 plus var2. Okay, so these two functions, and they are the best example of function overloading. The function name is same, the type of the variables, the parameter is different, and return type is also different. So what I can do here is, I want to call some method. I will say print n whatever value you are getting, sum. So if I'll pass integer values, so automatically this one will be called. Okay, if I pass here some float value like 9.8 and 166.9. okay, so what it is saying is none of the following functions can be called with the arguments supplied. Okay, so basically this is of type, this is also in decimals, this is also in decimals, right? Let me see here. If I change it to double and double, so this one will execute this sum method, and here you are passing integer, so this sum method will be called. Let's run it and see if it's working fine or not. And you can obviously, because you are manually giving the value, so you can remove it. So I want to perform addition operation 17 and 26.6. perfect. Alright, so you got to know here the concept of function overloading, the concept of functions in Kotlin. It's very simple. I mean, the syntax is literally very simple. Let me know if you are facing any difficulties till now, till this point. Now let's talk about arrays in Kotlin, another very important concept. Whenever you're going to learn any programming language, arrays are very important. So how do you create or write arrays in Kotlin? Var, you already know the keyword, name of the array, then array of 1, 2, 3. So basically this is syntax, standard syntax, var, name of the array, then array of, this is keyword here, this is keyword here. So what are keywords here? This is keyword, this is also keyword, and then you have to give the name to the array and the values. It depends on you, right? These are not keywords. So it's as simple as it looks. So here what will be done? 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 0 index, 1 index, 2 index. At 0 index the value is 1, at 1 index the value is 2, at 2 index the value is 3. Okay, to create an array, use the function array of and pass the item values to it, so that array of 1, 2, 3 creates an array 1, 2, 3. Alternatively, the array of nulls function can be used to create an array of given size filled with null elements. Okay, Kotlin array declaration using array of function once again. So this is my array 1. Okay, these all are keywords. These are the name of the array that you can decide. Array of is again keyword. Okay, and then values you have to give. So my array 1, array of 1, 10, 4, 6, 15. It is like 1, 10, 4, 6, 15. Index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then array of int, same thing. Array of string, in curly braces you can pass the type as well. So here you have the array of a string, and then array of mix of integer and string values. Perfect. And here array set function example is given to you. So basically this is your function main, right? Some argument here, args is the name of the variable, and this is type, opening and closing. So array 1, array of 1, 2, 3, 4. Array 2, array of long type. Okay, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it is saying right now it is 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 0 index, 1 index, 2 index, 3 index. I am saying, and this is array 2 and the array 1 is 1 2 3 4, index 0 1 2 3. Now I am saying array 1 dot set at 0 index set 5. So I will remove 1 and I will set 5 here. Okay, array 1 2 is equal to 6. So at index 2, that is this one, you have to write 6. So I'll remove it and I will override it. Okay, array dot set 0 index. So array 1 dot set at 0 index set 5. So I did that. At second index set 6. So I did that. Okay, perfect. Then array 2 dot set at second index 2. So here I will write 2. I will write 10 at second index. They are asking me to write 10. Then array 2 at third index write 8. At third index write 8. That's it. That's it. And to iterate over the array, I can write for each element in array 1 curly braces and println each element. That's it. This is what they have done. For each element in array 1, print element. Okay, for each element in array 2, keep on printing the element. So one by one they will print each and every value of the array. Okay, so this is the array 1. So first is 5. This will be the output 5. Then println, then I'll go here again. This is 2, then 6, and then 4. This is how it will traverse over your array using for loop. For each element in the array, print each element. Perfect. And here is another example of Kotlin get function. Okay, let's say you want to get the value at index 1. So this is array 1, right? Array 1 1 2 3 4, and I am saying here array 1 dot get 0. So it is asking me to print the value that is at index 0. So 0 1 2 3. So I will print 1. Okay, I will print 1, output 1. Then I am saying println array 1 2. Print whatever is there in the array 1. This is your array 1. Okay, array 1, whatever is there in array 1 at index 2. So 0 1 2, I will print 3. That's it, right? Perfect. So I hope you have got the set function dot set, as well as if you have to directly retrieve the value, you can say name of the array and then inside a square bracket you can pass the number, the value of the index. So now let's quickly understand array concept by writing code as well, right? Practice makes a person perfect. So let's quickly write array code, and yes, function main, and inside the function main I will create an array. So var, okay, and then name of the array, you can name it my array. Okay, my array is equal to array of, now this is keyword, var is keyword here, array of is keyword, my array is variable, I can name it anything, I can give it any name. Array of, let's say 1 2 6 9, anything, whatever you want, 7 5, blah blah, like that. You can go on about it, right? Now if I want to, the very first thing, if I want to print all the values of my array, how I will do, for element in my array, I will create curly braces, and inside for loop I will say println. I can just keep on printing the elements one by one. If you run it, you will see 1 2 6 9 7 5 in the output. You can see 1 2 6 9 7 5. That's it. If let's say I want to change some of the values, so we just saw how we can do that. My array dot set and index, you can see here it is telling me if you press command P, so give index and then the value. So I want to change, let's say 6 to something else. So 0 1 2, the index is 2, and I want to change 6 to 15. Okay, 15. And also I want to change, another way of changing is let's say I want to change the value of 5, so I'll check what is the index of 5. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 is the index of 5, right? Maybe I'll create one more value here, one more value, and call it 77. Okay, I want to change 77. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to change the value which is at 6th index to 87. Okay, and again I want to check if these actions were performed in the right order, in the right way. So I'll say here println new values of array, new values of the array, and then I will run this file. I will run this piece of code. So you can see here 1 2 6 9 7 5 77, okay, for the first for loop. And after I ran the set method, after I changed the index 6, right? So you can see here the new values are like this. At index 2 it is now 15, and at index 6 it is now 87. Okay, you can again do something like this, println, if you want to get value at a given index, right, at a given index. So the value at the value at index 4 is and you can simply write here dollar, and then let's not go in dollar, I mean let's do it this way, my array dot get, and whatever the index you want, what you can write 4. Okay, so you can see the value at index 4 is 7, and you can see it is 7, right? Perfect. So let me do a screencast once again, and let's summarize everything that we have learned so far. So we studied the control flow. For decision making, we have if else, we have when, right? For loops, we have 3 things, that is while loop, then do while, and then for loop, right? After control flow, we studied the concept of functions. We talked about function overloading as well. And then finally we saw how arrays are created, how we traverse over array, how we get set array in Kotlin, right? Alright, so see you in the next module. Till then, keep writing code in Kotlin. The more you will write, the more fluency you will achieve. And yes, over time you will feel that these syntax, these pieces of code are very, very simple. Okay, so go ahead, write the code and push it on GitHub and show the internet, show the world that okay, you are learning something new. Tell on LinkedIn, tell on Twitter, tag a scaler, tag me. So yes, when you learn in a community, you will see more people around you as well posting things, and that will keep you motivated, right, to learn things. You will see that okay, other people are also doing things. You can accept 30 days of Kotlin challenge as well, and every day you can post that okay, today I learned this, that day I learned this, something like that, right? Perfect. See you in next module. I hope this module was helpful for you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to Scalar's YouTube channel for more such insightful content.